Welcome. In this first video, I would like to talk about the most critical driver for reducing and minimizing corruption in any country. And what I'm saying is also supported by many scholars. And I think that is the most important, profound element that can change any country. That is leadership. The impact of courageous leadership that are humble, that serve the people, that don't try to lead from the front, as we sometimes hear about people, that, as with our late president from Namibia, was once asked if he would serve, and he said, no, he's a leader. He leads, he doesn't follow other people. This is just an example that everybody wants to lead, but nobody wants to serve. However, there are many people willing to serve. Most humble people in the world try to serve. If we want to address corruption, we need transformational leadership. We need empathic leadership. We need people that can think without a box. We need people that are innovative, because in order to address corruption, you need innovative, creative problems solving, not the conventional, because you cannot solve the same problem with the same strategies unsuccessfully over and over, as Einstein have indicated. So, to come back to leadership, I think we're living in a time, based on the previous 3 videos, that we realize that we suffer from weak leadership in the world. People that are courageous, people that are there not just for the money or the power or the abuse of power, as it mostly seems to be in politicians, and our career political system enable career politicians to become comfortable in jobs and living for the perks of doing as little as possible, making promises with the money of the people while securing themselves higher, bigger salaries, protecting themselves from the people, not having the respect of people. And we have seen that also what happened during COVID-19 with the attempt to global government and global governance. The disrespect with which people's fundamental human rights were trampled on, that were enshrined in the Constitution of the United Nations, enshrined in the Constitution of countries, and were just put aside. As easy as that. The emergency powers bestowed upon presidents, close the country's borders, put people in lockdown, and to act on behalf of the interest of scientists that have been misled by the World Health Organization, and also the likes of Bill Gates and China, without the biggest funders of the World Health Organization, and also the mass media of Facebook, and so many other social platforms where people have been silenced. But if we follow the money, we'll see that there are more millionaires, billionaires being created during COVID-19 than ever before in history. So if you follow the money, you will see that the type of leadership they had during COVID-19 was an excuse for becoming rich, becoming more rich than ever before, of those that have already been rich, being already being affluent. So, without further ado, I would like to focus on some of the best examples of leadership that have ever been on this earth. And I don't try to say that these are all of them. They are just some of them. To refresh our minds that it is possible to have exceptional leadership and can give people hope, for which people have respect, which can instill confidence and trust, currency, trust in people. They don't need large armies to protect them, because people are connected to the leader. They have respect for the people, and people respect them. They respect the dignity of people. They serve the people. And with that, I would like to focus now on the outstanding characteristics. By focusing on the outstanding leaders with some of the qualities that I've highlighted already, it's important to realize or to identify who are they, and by no means at all excluding or including all of them, but the leaders. To start with the ascended masters, that we focus on Jesus, for example. We focus on Muhammad, and we can also focus on Buddha and so many other leaders of the past from which we can draw hope, that have transcended people in unity, have gone beyond separation and polarization of people, and that still today bind people together in unity and connection beyond race, tribe, ethnic, culture, language, communication barriers. People of all income levels, of all genders. I think that is profound. We need to look at those leaders that play a unifying role in connecting people, because the world is one, the universe is one, and we're all connected. Whatever we do have an influence on each other. And this is how we should see also to address corruption. Now, some of the leaders that have lived the last few hundred years, I would also like to focus on them. One of the most profound ones is Gandhi, with his no violence exercise of no violence. Every time he was an Indian leader, was qualified as a lawyer, and that is not important. He led the Indians to independence at a time when the British Empire was already questioning colonialism. So he didn't all achieve it on his own. He was just the right person at the right time, with enormous amount of courage, simplicity, humility, that challenged the British system and gave people hope. Also led protests against the Indians that were taxed by the British unnecessarily to keep them in poverty. So Mahatma Gandhi is for me, last few hundred years, the most outstanding leader, because he was a person that didn't encourage violence. This is so unlike so many leaders of today. So many governments of today, if everything failed, they make money to unite people of a specific country. And Gandhi, in several times, when his own people was responding to the British in killing some British soldiers, he said that he's not going to eat, and he's going to fast, and he almost died a couple of times, and he, in doing so, he actually convinced these people that violence can solve everything and nothing at all, because it creates ever chain of violence and bloodshed, where people are traumatized, and that is being repeated from generation to generation, as we also see now in the Middle East. So with that, I would like to say that Gandhi was a mentor also for Martin Luther King, civil rights leader in America that resist discrimination of black people based on their skin color. And he said, for example, in his I Have a Dream speech, something to the effect of, I would like to see my children live in a country where one day they will be judged based on the character, not on the color of their skin. Now, this is profound. This is a leader that can unite people, irregardless of their differences. And Gandhi, as I've said, was the mentor of Martin Luther King in a philosophical sense. Martin Luther King adopted that. And for that reason, Martin Luther King is one of the greatest leaders that followed the footsteps of Gandhi, a leader that don't believe in violence. For me, he's a leader with the right foundation. Another leader is, for example, George Washington, the father of the nation, because he was very humble. He was uneducated, and maybe that contributed to his humbleness. He led the American people to independence. Yes, he was involved in bloodshed. He was profound in the Constitution of America. Another one of that is in Africa, Thomas Sankara, Burkina Faso, a revolutionary leader, humble leader, driven his old car himself, a Renault that belonged to him, lives in his own house, didn't want a presidential palace, encouraged the empowerment of women, people with disability, encouraged people to not to become dependent on imports from abroad and from loans abroad. Absolutely outstanding leader from Africa. He was a Marxist, with which I don't agree, but we can't judge people in the past, and also not leaders based on the past and the context that we are not familiar with. So another leader in that was Uruguay, José Mujica, another revolutionary leader, humble leader, played a role in the independence of his own people, and he lived in his own house on a plot, only a few cards, driven his own Volkswagen Beetle, donated about 90% of his salary to the poor of the poorest, and engaged in housing for everybody, and employment reduced. Profound leader, outstanding leader. Then another leader for which we can draw on, also in America, was Abraham Lincoln. Exceptional listening skills, ended the slavery, gave slaves equal rights. He was killed as Mahatma Gandhi because he resisted the regime of the time. Even his people, his own cabinet, didn't agree with him. Gandhi was killed by a Muslim that were not in support of Pakistan being part of India. Then another leader in the United States, John F. Kennedy, was also killed resisting the regime. And he was also very diplomatic in solving the Cuban crisis, saved the world from the Third World War. And he said, for example, don't ask what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. Encouraging nationalism, identity with unity in the country, with which I think can be encouraged. Then also Princess Diana, that transformed the monarchy, what people think about the monarchy, connecting with people. She served about 100 charities, trying to unite people, removing the stigma of people in HIV/AIDS, and connect with people, and the way that she connected with people, irrespective of being a princess, made her the princess of the people in the United Kingdom, where she was much more favorable than any other person in the British monarchy. When she died, there were so many flowers received that it was astounding. The respect and the dignity and the love that the people of United Kingdom have for Princess Diana. She was also killed, probably due to, not only by an accidental car accident, but probably also planned by those that want to resist the values that she propagated. Then another person that is also outstanding for me in the recent times, Donald Trump. He challenged the conventional, only received $1 American per year for his presidency. He challenged wokeness. Don't listen about gender. Don't listen about illegal immigration in America. He was very diplomatic in trying to end violence of America with other countries, conclude better agreements with China and Russia, and he made Americans proud. He also focused on the critical race theory, and also the neglected white middle-class people in America. And he also challenged the convention of that equality of output can create social justice, which I agree with. That equality of input is necessary, but equality of output is complete injustice, and because we are all born differently, it's not based on merit. President Trump also reduced more than ever before for any president in any country, child trafficking, woman trafficking, and he exposed a lot of corruption in America, and he challenged also the COVID-19, of which I've commented on, the way that the COVID-19 was treated as a reason for lockdown in all countries. That is some of the most important leaders that we can identify with as a way to change corruption, to give people hope. We need these type of leaders as role models, because the fish rots from its head, as they say in Swahili. And if you don't walk the talk, if you don't set the example by characteristic leadership, irrespective of the style of leadership that you follow, situational leadership style, or any other style of leadership, character of a person, character of a leader is more important. It says more. Any other leadership style that is always ever changing to from a business perspective. If you don't do what you say, then people will not respect you. People will not trust you. And I think those examples of the leaders that I've identified, some of them, is the type of values and the type of principles which we need to build a foundation to reduce and minimize corruption in any society, in any country, in any institution, in any organization, in any family setup, starting with ourselves. As Gandhi said, if you want to change the world, start with yourself. That is the best place to start, but because that means accountability. So people, leaders that are accountable, that are liable, that have the same rights as their fellow citizens, those are the real leaders and not rulers. Because there's a big difference between rulers and leaders. Leaders serve and they set the example. And rulers expect you to follow them and to respect them based on their position. So respect should be earned, trust should be earned, can never be bought. So transformational leadership, these leaders that I've highlighted, of extreme importance in and can and will and shall address corruption of any institution.